Bird machine.
Let's start off with the Bahasa definition. Beauty by Oxford languages is of qualities such as color, shape, form that pleases the senses, especially sight, but definitely not limited to that. Then, what is considered beauty by society? Honestly, it is subjective. It depends on people's opinion. By BeAutistic.com, the standard of beauty is a variable of what is said to be attractive that is constituted by feminine ideals that are presented in given culture that was influenced by the time and writing. Though, despite how the ideal looks unrealistic and ridiculous, restraining what makes people attractive is certain criteria that not all people have within one different. But back to the point. By ideal articles, beauty is divided into two sections, inner and outer. Outer is more referring to someone's physical appearance, while inner is more referring to someone's personal traits. Since this is about persons, it's about comparing which one is important, isn't it? Based on Dr. inner beauty is within us, within our soul, within our heart. This is our true beauty that is continuing to evolve. Inner beauty comes from being a good person. It simply cannot be compared with only just looks. And honestly, I gotta agree with this statement. Inner beauty is about helping others. Inner beauty is about spreading positivity, not only to its surrounding, to that person itself. Now, I'm not saying that outer beauty is important, but the qualities is different. Inner beauty and outer beauty has their own importance, like how inner beauty interests people and how outer beauty how outer beauty interests people, while inner beauty is having a friend in need. Those both are better. I agree having a great personality is important, but why choose one when you have both? Having a nice appearance like a great makeup, nice clothes, neat shoes, sure boosts your confidence.
Tiga pada siang hari ini atas nama Azmi Fayyad Yazid dari SMPIT Ukhuwah Banjarmasin. Waktu dan tempat silakan.
Shall I start? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's about envelopes, paper pockets commonly filled with messages with the means of communication without the need for a physical contact. They communicate through the ink of pens, pen pals, so to speak. All this replaced online chatting and social media. Pens and paper as a whole, although not completely replaced, you can basically finish a semester of school without using a drop of ink and a shred of paper, if you're really that willing to. Synonyms of replaced in this case are many: modified, adapted, changed, digitalized. A process that I feel like is creeping up on us, and I'm sure it'll overtake us sooner or later. As if the gust of wind. I said all these really big words just now, but it seems that I've yet to introduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, and of course, friends alike, greetings. My name is Asifat Yazid, and I am from my beloved school, Ukhuwah Islamic Pure High School, Banjarmasin. With the fair respect, pardon me, without stretching this any longer, allow me to begin. The measure of intelligence is the ability to change. That's from the legendary and very much admired painter Albert Einstein. And with the past events of history and of course modern day occurrences, this quote has been deemed true. Being unable to change and adapt to the world along with your surroundings quick enough, and you will be left behind in the past, unforgivingly. Digitalization, I think, is not just any other type of change. I myself might even go as far as to call it revolutionary. It will change us forever like nothing before. Within the last 2 decades, the world has undergone an unbelievable amount of change technologically. Take around 10-15 years ago. Phones were an absolute luxury to own. But nowadays, you practically can't do anything without them. Work, school, and sometimes, in some aspects, life in general. As a follow-up to what I said about the term digitalization being commonly misused, I'd like to clarify what I said. Simply put, let's just say digitalization had a younger, simpler twin. I'm talking about digitization. Now, they're both seemingly identical to some degree, but still very much different. 2 letters. That said, the difference between these 2 different terms is 2 letters. Allow me to dive in deeper. If digitization is a conversion, then digitalization is a transformation. Digitization is simply the act of converting existing physical data into a digital format. Digitalization in one way or another also does this, but it goes way beyond that and also refers to integrating digital technology into daily life. Digitalization of government, healthcare, education, and even, again, in some aspects, society itself. We are barely scratching the surface, the tip of the iceberg. It would be an understatement to say that I was not at all kidding when I said digitization is the silver pen. But to save the boredom of me pointedly explaining to you every single thing that digitalization changed, I think it's best for us to swiftly move on to another more interesting part of digitalization, if you will. Instead of just listing the seemingly amazing things about digitalization as if it was a marketing strategy, I'd like to tell you that all of this has a catch. Well, there always is a catch. See, with these life-changing creations and discoveries made through digitalization, it also brings its own set of dangers. The breach of privacy, plagiarism, identity theft, cybercrime, terrorism, and of course the most common and most known, uncontrollable addiction. Whether that only be always being on your phone, or worse, making foolishly irresponsible decisions, sometimes in exchange for quote-unquote internet fame. TikTok. At this point, the choice is all yours. Whether to completely believe in it or still be cautious of it. As the Chinese proverb goes, when the winds of change blow, some will build walls and others will windmills. Although it may seem that I was pessimistic about digitalization, that is not at all. That is not at all the case. To be honest, I myself am quite excited at what digitalization has in store for us. And whether you're against it or not, it's practically undeniable that digitalization will and is leading us to the future. Now, to the part where students like me skip to an online lecture. The summary. Within this speech, I may have not been so clear about what I'm trying to say. If that's the case, then I'm very sorry. But that's what summary is all about. The simplified but still understandable version. I digress. Digitalization will be revolutionary. It always has been, and I believe it will continue to be so. If you're unable to follow the pace of the changes that digitalization causes, then you'll probably be buried with all the other new stuff sooner than you think. But if you're too careless, then you might fall victim to the dangers that I mentioned. Now, if I may ask, are there any questions from the judges? Or maybe even from the others? Armand?
Thank you very much, Asmi. Are you nervous?
To be honest, yes, quite. This is my first English quiz competition.
Right, so what I want to do is I record your performance.
Yes.
I want to upload it on YouTube and I want to slow it down a little bit to 1.5 at least.
I have a problem of speaking too quickly since I was a little kid, so yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I want to slow it down a little bit.
My apologies for that. I don't.
Right, so you are talking about digitalization.
yang ini aksennya
What is besides that the pace of your
actually don't mind the
speaking?
pressure.
Make sure you, especially the big words, try to enunciate or clearly pronounce it.
Yes.
Digitalization, all the big words, because sometimes you break all everything and one, and you don't even take any reason. My question is, so you are talking about digitalization. What's your opinion of digitalization of learning? So nowadays, there's an opinion that because everything should be free, even learning, the lecture, everything should be put on the internet. Everything should be put everything on the internet. What do you think about that?
Well, if we're talking about my opinion, then it's in some aspects a huge step up, because you could say in the old days, I may be exaggerating, but you would need to pay a huge sum for some other type of education.
Yes.
But nowadays, you can just make a quick search and the answer is already in front of your eyes.
Very good. All right, thank you. I also agree with you. Right. Okay, so I've heard that your content is really good. Actually, I've heard all of it, and it's quite interesting topic as well.
Thank you.
Because not only people even do not know what is the difference between those two terms, right? So they just think that everything is it's digitalization. That actually we have two different terms.
Yes.
It's quite similar but really different. It's new information for us as well. Thank you. And talking about this, have you ever heard about Meta?
Meta, yes, I have.
So what do you think about that and its impact in the future?
Meta. When I first heard this, I was completely confused. But now, well, I'm still confused as to what the purpose of Meta is. But I can say that it will change quite a majority of things. To be honest, it's quite unfortunate, but I've yet to really dive into the concept of Meta, so I can't give you a definitive answer on my opinion. But right now, I sort of think it's a little risky in some aspects, but that's it.
But it will grow huge impact to our society, right?
Yes, a huge one, I'm sure.
Thank you. Good answer. Get some water, Nick.
Oke, kita panggilkan lagi. Serta selanjutnya atas nama Kaila Nadira dari SMPIT Ukhuwah.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Hello, I'm Kyle Hafira and I am president of Kota High School. Dear Jahi and audiences, have you ever wondered how is life without technology?
No.
As we know, the use of technology, communication, and information is increasing rapidly and continues to grow today. Technology does not only change our life, but also the way of life. This is called the process of digitalization. What do you know about digitalization? Many people
think that digitalization is just about how they use mobile phone, social media, or daily conversation with chatting application. That is not wrong either. They may think what they see every day something. They don't see something happens. There is a process there. Yes, you know that digitalization is the process of converting information into a digital form. Indeed, almost all aspects of life are nowadays available in digital form. And now I would like to present digitalization in three aspects. The first aspect is education. In many years, technology has developed education for teaching, learning, and helping others. Digitalization for education is one of aspects that gets special attention, especially during pandemic. Everything has been moving into a digital world, including in education aspect. Technology changes student daily activities. One of them is going to school. As a student, you should be an adaptable person in a situation that makes us study from home. The second aspect is economy. Do you like online shopping?
Yes.
You must have been subscribed one or two stores. Yes, you know that there's a lot of e-commerce today. It is a place where people can buy or sell goods or services over the internet. You can go there at home, help us to find everything you need. You can buy food, clothes, toys, or furniture, or something you think in just one click. It is not only efficient, but also efficient. It is not only efficient, but sorry. The first aspect is health. Now, there's a lot of mobile health care. Mobile health apps contacting doctors and medical facilities have become more easier than ever before. In Indonesia, there's a famous mobile health care named Halodoc. Does anyone here know about Halodoc application?
Yes.
Halodoc is a digital platform that includes mobile apps and website allowing customers across Indonesia to have live consultations with more than 20,000 licensed doctors in the country anywhere, anytime. They can use the app to order medications for a number of 1,000 participants in pharmacies, which can be delivered within an hour. With technology, contacting doctor would be easier because we can do it from our home and we can do it anytime. In digitalization, of course, there are some negative and positive points. Some of the positive points are connectivity, communication speed, and entertainment. The negative points are social isolation, overload work, plagiarism, and copyright. The biggest part of digitalization is changing the way we think by Simon Preston. Digitalization is started by people, not by technology. Digitalization that's all from me. I hope that's all from me. Sorry if I have any mistake. Thank you for listening to people. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Alright, good job. Same school with previous one idea, right?
Yeah.
And same topics. Do you work together or do you write a script? Or what? No? You don't work together?
No.
No? Same topic. You should have there. But I know it's quite hard to follow someone with the same topic, but you did well. Definitely in other point of view, I guess. Right. So first of all, a little bit of tips if you want to easily remember things. Make it into chunk or this one piece of paper and then bring lots of piece of paper so you can flip it around. We can glance the script, not flip. So if you want to, you can do it. And other, you talk about digitalization. My question is quite similar, but let me make it simple. Does your school have an application for only for your school to do work? Do Does your school use application to do school assignment?
No.
No?
My school uses Google Classroom.
Google Classroom. Okay, so Google Classroom. Do you have course book? LCAS? No? You don't. You just use Google Classroom. Right. So what if everything that you learn is in application? No teaching. Everything you learn at school in application. What do you think? What's your
I
opinion?
think it's quite hard because
You think you will miss the teacher?
yes.
Alright, thank you. Alright, thank you very much, Sarah.
Okay, so I want to have one question for you. So you say that technology has advantages and also disadvantages, right? Of course, it's like two sides of the coin. How do we decrease the drawback or the disadvantages of technology? How do we do that? Sorry, can you repeat?
Okay, let me help you. Digital thing, good, right? But there are bad things. Okay. So, how do you do to not have that?
We can use technology for a really good purpose and
Okay, so what I can take is we need to use technology wisely, right? That's what you want to say.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
Dear honorable judges and beloved audiences, what is the first thing that you look for in the morning? Well, maybe not all of us, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us will answer my question with phone as the first thing that we look for in the morning. Hi, I'm Liza from SMA Banjarmasin, and today I would like to talk about millennials' occupations and why they want to be them. Now let's take a look at my dad's old phone and let's compare it with the phone that I have now. It looks so different, right? Right. And this is one of the proof that the technology has improved a lot. We can easily do a lot of things from our phone that we always carry on. Who here has a virtual friend? Please raise your hands. Wow, that's cool. See, now we can easily be friends, even with people from the other side of the world. We can see a lot of beautiful places by only searching it on Google. If we think about that, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, we are all now connected by the internet like neurons in a giant brain by Stephen Hawking. That is why sometimes we term as digital natives, especially the millennial generation who know that's the first generation who grew up with the internet. And of course, it affects in many aspects. One of them is millennial occupation. If we ask the millennial generation what they want to be in the future, many of them will answer with, I want to be a YouTuber, or I want to have my own company. Why is that? You'll get the answer later. And these are the top 3 of millennials' occupation. The first one, make their own startup company. Now, many of you are trying to build their own company. So is in Indonesia. For an example, Amanda Susanto. She is the CEO of Sayurbox. Sayurbox has partnered with 300 farms, serves more than 15,000 customers, and generates more than 1,000 deliveries per day. With Sayurbox, she has won Seed Start Jakarta and has received more than $2 million US. The second one is Ahmad Zaki. I bet you guys ever heard or maybe buy things from Bukalapak. Am I right? Yes. Then, with Bukalapak, Ahmad Zaki's wealth has reached around $100 They both people are very, very amazing. The second one is influencer or content creator and e-sport athlete. Imagine life without social media. Everything would be so different without it. Because lately, social media have all the attention. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok are one of them. For an example, Jerome Pauling. He is one of the young YouTubers who has successful had millions of fans among millennials. And besides of social media, now games are the one thing that is currently booming. Because of that, we can see a lot of esports competition, such as Mobile Legends Tournament and Mega. Because there's a lot of competition for games, now there's a lot of young people who are interested for being an e-sport athlete. Okay, the next one is IT jobs. Now, in this new technology era, there are more opportunities in the tech sector. Now, a lot of companies are looking for people who can do design, research, and etc. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so those are the some of the millennials' occupation. But the question is, why they want to be a millennial wants a work-life balance. Millennial also want to be something to do, and for the opportunity for them to learn more and grow. Millennials also want to do something that can help them improve their skill and share their creativity. Ladies and gentlemen, for me, those reasons are so accurate. I want to do something that I can enjoy. I also want to do something that can help me improve my skill. In this technology era, there are so many jobs that we can choose that maybe is our passion. If you want to do something with the technology, maybe you can choose one of the IT jobs. If you want to do something challenging, maybe you can start your own company. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve by an will. What about you? What's your dream job? And why do you want to be like that? Be what you want to be. Try your best to reach your dream. Never ever think the word give up, because the efforts will never betray the result. So that's all for me. If there are any questions, you can ask.
Alright, thank you so much. First of all, it's very energetic. It's suiting your age very well. The point that you mentioned is well structured, again, some things that it's okay, it's okay, it's not considered good. Now the way you start doing the transport and things, it can actually be clear that, oh yeah, so this is where we are. Knowledge is great, it's all really for that. Now, one of my questions, one of the good ideas is you always start a company, and you want to do that, okay, I want to do my own boss, that's just what I want to do, maybe including myself. But however, there's a thing that's it's not for everybody. So I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about there seems to be a lot of, what do we call it? Big idea, I can't think many news, for example, like spreading news like how, oh yeah, go be an entertainer or go be an entrepreneur, or make your own startup, something like that. In a way, how do you feel about it? Because you yourself, I'm pretty sure there are some qualities that needs to be acquired when you want to do something, right? So in a way, it feels like this thing try to, in a way, fool people, that everybody can do that. This is also the thing
promoting, right? Promoting, okay, be your own boss or be your own something like that. Do you think it will be like positive or negative impact toward how the younger generation think about the job overall?
Okay, so your question is, what do I think about the campaign?
Yes.
Maybe sometimes it will give a positive effect for us, but if it's not something you want to do, so don't do it. Do what you want to do. But if you actually want to do it, then try your best. And maybe those campaigns are trying to make you more, those campaigns maybe will make you more motivated for make your own company, but you don't have to feel stressed if you can't, because maybe it's not your passion, and you can try the other things that maybe is your passion. So that's my answer.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I was presented in a very nice way that it's not very distracted. Yeah. So I was from your house. So that was my question. What is your dream?
Actually, my dream job is to be something that's related to broadcasting or something talking in public, because I love talking in public. I love how people look at me when I'm talking. I want to be in the television also, because I want to give a good affection for people, because now you can see the television is kind of different than it used to be. So I know it's not easy to change it, but I want to start it for myself. If I can go to this television one day, or maybe talk in the radio, I want to give something different to people, so people can start thinking the other way, because there's a lot of, trashy things on the radio and the television right now. Okay, I think that's my question. That's my answer.
So, are there any videos that you cut for your dreams?
Okay, I have one. As I said in the speech before, I really adore Jerome, because when he was in high school, when he was a kid, he just a normal young boy, and he said that he doesn't have a lot of money right now, that moment. So he tried his best to get a scholarship for his high school in Surabaya, if I'm not wrong. Then he got that scholarship, and his dad said, if you can't be rich, you have to be smart. So you can be ashamed. Like maybe his friends will talk to him like, you are not rich, but I'm smart at least, like that. And after his high school, he dreamed to go to the other country for bring his family to the other country. So one of the solution is take a scholarship outside the country, so he can bring his family to the other country. And he finally got the scholarship at Waseda University in Japan. And I really adore him because of his strength and his hardworking person, and I really adore him. Yeah, that's my answer. Hi everyone, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Good day everyone, hope you are doing well today. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Haidar Gamalana. I am currently 15 years old and I'm from Islam Junior High School. And today I'm going to talk about how Corona has in a sense digitalized the way we learn. The pandemic started around 1 or 2 years ago, and it has affected our lives study, the way we order food, and the way we study, the way we learn. As the one area which has certainly seen considerable changes as a result of COVID-19 is the education sector. When schools and universities around the world were forced to close their doors to prevent the spread, alternative methods of studying or through online or through technologies had to be adopted almost overnight. Online learning became an urgent necessity rather than an option. Of course, e-learning had been included from way before. It's just not as popular and seen more as an add-on rather than a necessity. Never to the overcoming extent witnessed at the height of the pandemic, teaching staff internationally were forced often little more to familiarize themselves with the range of online platforms in order to deliver entire courses on a fully remote basis. In turn, online platforms like Google innovated to meet this new demand, quickly incorporating functions such as video conferencing to their classroom service. Pre-pandemic, educational institutions had the option to incorporate digital learning as part of their offering, but it was often seen as a bonus or the exception to the rule, attractive mainly to part-time or foreign students seeking more flexible learning arrangements. COVID-19 undoubtedly represents a critical turning point. The prospect of returning to campus on the courses as the norm after this period seems ever less likely. Critics have suggested that this disruption to the norm was much needed, although it obviously caused some consequences. The mixed feelings and opinions around the online learning suggest that most managers have on average are maybe the most effective for educational institutions globally. Some of these changes are positive, and some of these changes are also negative. Some of the positive changes, for example, is that students can now pace themselves with their work. They no longer feel rushed when they were in school. And they no longer have to go to school. Since if you go to school every day, attend classroom, listening to the teacher, and writing whatever they write on the whiteboard, it gets repetitive sometimes. Students can often feel burnt out in this process. But with digital learning, students can now take their studies by their own pace. They can process the materials that they are studying way more easily and way more, well, they can pace themselves, as I said. Some of the negative changes that Corona has made, some of the negative changes that this has made is that students may slack off their studies because they get distracted too easily with the internet. Sometimes they get a notification from like their favorite video and they get distracted by that and end up not learning anything. Not studying anything. Some of it is also they spend way too much time on their games and end up not studying again. Also, some students doesn't have easy access to technology and don't have the fortune to study online and attend Zoom classes, for example. Changes to the student experience. Those who did move into European residents have partly enjoyed the typical study experience. Isolation has in many cases replaced the standard freshman activities which are designed to encourage social bonding and relationship building. For many students, separation from their families and this difficult time alongside their disappointment and unanticipations in academic life has had an impact on their mental health. Universities have been varied in their response to this crisis, and as a result, the debate regarding the degree to which educational institutions bear responsibility for the students on a personal level has been reignited. That's what I want to say for today. Any questions? Yes.
My question will be, as you mentioned, because of students have to learn everything before.
Yes.
But I don't know if you have heard about it, but it's something that we are forced.
Yes.
Some students they don't have this access to develop learning platform or ways to access it in any way possible. So do you think this kind of force, individualization, is something good or something bad?
Well, I think there are good effects to it, and there are of course downsides to it. Students, the downside is that some of these students, they don't have the fortune to study online because they don't have, for example, maybe the access to internet or the money to buy these technologies. Maybe if we talk to the government about it and maybe come to an agreement to maybe give the students some facilities, some new facilities to study with, maybe it can be a good thing and can stay for a while. So in my opinion, overall it's a good thing, but of course for some it's a trauma and of course has negative effects.
Maybe you're nervous. But overall, there's no secrets there. There's some secrets there, even though some are like every but the idea is let's say is so that's great. Thank you. So my question would be, what single partner is going to be about you mentioned that it's digitalized due to the conflict work and you experience that for 2 years. Right. Do you, are you coming back to school now?
Oh yeah, we are already going back to school ever since a few months ago.
Now that you have your own thing, you experience this yourself in the way when you live digitally and you do your face-to-face. I want to ask, which one do you prefer?
That's not my question. Well, I do like using my phone and stuff. I gotta say, I do prefer digital learning. I process things, I find myself processing things way more easily, even though it's a bit hard when there are some things that I don't understand. Like, for example, if I don't understand the way to do this mathematical question, I usually just ask the teacher right away if there's a quiz or a practice sheet. But if it's too digitally, usually you gotta wait for the teacher's answer if you're using apps like WhatsApp or stuff like that. So, but I still prefer digital learning because I can take things by my own pace and just answer things, take my time with the questions.
Alright, thank you so much. You have a very clear picture. You just have to influence the
blessings and gifts, which shall allow us to convene in this venue for the final event of Radio English Ambassador Contest. Salawat and greetings are always lavished upon our King Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The honorable judges who are fair and wise, teachers and mentors, I admire all of the finalists, ladies and gentlemen. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Alan, in the 8th grade at Kota Islamic School in Banjarmasin. Thank you for the opportunity to speak in front of you all. My presentation will title Becoming an Outstanding Millennial Student in the E-Learning Era. Digitalization is a type of transition from mechanical to digital technologies. Digitalization is a type of technological modernization that is frequently associated with the advent of the Internet and computers. The sophisticated technologies make business easier because they allow for the completion of all tasks. Because of the digital revolution, it is what drives a person's perspective, individual living a very sophisticated life nowadays. Of course, technological improvements and developments will have a significant impact on the rest of the world. Major changes that will have an impact in the facilitating all kinds of interest or green progress. Either we are being able or unable to use increasingly sophisticated facilities properly. During the COVID-19 epidemic, information technology is a vital phrase in online or remote learning to help students learn better, quicker, and smarter. ICT is another word for information and communication technology. According to UNESCO, there are various benefits to using ICT in the school system, including increased educational equality, learning quality, teacher professionalism, and being more effective and efficient in education management and governance. ICT literacy refers to those who are digitally literate and know how to use technology. Digital literacy, technological literacy, and human literacy are three of the skills required in the fourth wave of Industrial Revolution. The purpose of digital literacy is to improve the ability to read, evaluate, and utilize information of how machine works and technology applications. Meanwhile, human literacy leads to the goal of enhancing communication and design science proficiency. These abilities are greatly useful in the application of e-learning. In order to deal with today's rapid changes, students would have these three talents. If students want to have a bright future, they must be encouraged to be interested in learning from the beginning. The positive and negative effects of e-learning. A. Positive. Enhancing students' capacity in IT. Encourage students' independence and initiative. B. Negative. Increase in students' interest for learning. Students perceive learning to be less effective. During the pandemic, here are some tips for making the way students via e-learning. 1. Recognize your interests. 2. Time management. 3. Make the most out of all possibilities by being creative. 4. Developing new connections. 5. Believe in yourself and don't be afraid to fail. Digitalization is a type of technological advancement that has significant implications in many sectors of life, including education. It is up to us to determine if the impact is beneficial or harmful, whether we can effectively use it or if we are left alone. Being an excellent student during the deployment of e-learning is a challenge because it requires you to use change as an opportunity to upgrade yourself and achieve more success with innovative ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all speech that I can deliver. Ideally, what I have said is painful for us. I'm so sorry if I had a mistake. Thank you for your last attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Do you like e-learning? Do you like e-learning? Do you like the e-learning things? Do you like it? Is there anything that you don't like about it? Or do you think that everything is good?
Everything is good, I think.
Why do you think that is with the e-learning that we are currently using? Why do you think everything is ready?
Well, e-learning is not learning, so I think e-learning is beneficial for us don't have to be in the same place or in the same room. We can use music at any time of the night or day. Yes.
Thank you very much. Then my so much for speech.
Materials for students by using internet and computers. So it's more easy to search materials than searching by a book.
Now,